Last week was an Alien ripoff, and this week it is a somewhat Terminator clone with Blade Runner vibes. Yeah, it's Trancers, which is a 1984 American science fiction action film directed by Charles Band. Take the plot of Terminator, cross it with Demolition Man, add a massive side helping of Blade Runner, slash the budgets of all of these by a lot, soak everything in neon, and congratulations, you've created Trancers. I was absolutely in love with this from the opening scene to its ending, but I'm getting way ahead of myself, so let's start at the very beginning. Paul DeMeo and Danny Bilson co-wrote the screenplay based on an already existing script and concept that Charles Band and Empire Pictures had already optioned. They kept some of the original script but made major changes to it. These included the character of Jack Deft was initially called Jack Farragut the Rat Catcher. They did, however, keep the concept that he was a cop from the future who time travelled to the past to capture a villain, along with the concept of time travel that the movie employs, using a drug to travel through a person's ancestral line to possess the consciousness of an ancestor. The actual villain plot and all the other characters, however, were entirely creations of DeMeo and Bilson. It was shot on location in LA during the Olympics in 1984, which helped considerably as traffic was reduced and allowed them to shoot with minimal disruptions. Originally they released it theatrically as both Future Cop and Trancers to see which got more traction with audiences. Neither drew a big enough audience according to Band, so they just stuck with Trancers. Like most of these films I cover, it was on home video where it found its audience and became a massive cult hit, going on to spawn 5 sequels. The film was highly regarded critically, however, holding a 83% Rotten Tomatoes rating, with the LA Times at the time of release writing, Trancers could stand as a textbook example of efficient, effective exploitation filmmaking. As for me, I've seen this movie several times, and I've got to say every time I watch it I fall in love with it all over again from the very opening scene. Just drink that in. It absolutely sets the scene for what we are about to get. A gin-soaked neo-noir with a gruff, rough, tough, trench coat wearing, chain-smoking detective straight out of a 50s noir who is from the 23rd century. Who regulations don't mean a damn thing to, cause he's going to be punching faces and taking no names as he's already killed the suspect. The opening scene is straight out of the pages of a 50s noir, with our protagonist very much from the Philip Marlowe mould, even down to the gruff narration. It is absolutely wonderful world building, and yeah, I'm a huge fan of this kind of aesthetic. Take a noir detective and soak them in neon. I will lap that up all day long. The plot is a fairly straightforward one. It's the 23rd century and Earth has somewhat gone to shit. LA is no more after it has been hit by the big one, and police troopers track and execute Trancers, somewhat zombie-like creatures who are the acolytes of Whistler, an evil genius with psychic powers he uses to control his acolytes. Before he can be caught, Whistler has travelled back in time to kill off the ancestors of the council members who run the future government of Angel City. Jack Deft, played by Tim Thomerson, must follow him back in time and stop him with the help of his ancestors' punk rock girlfriend, Lena, played by Helen Hunt. It obviously borrows heavily from both Terminator and Blade Runner thematically, but puts a low budget spin on those concepts and makes them its own thing and has great fun with it. It could be argued that the time travel in the plot would create a whole bunch of time paradoxes, including Jack being his own ancestor, but seeing as the film never takes itself that seriously, I can't honestly hold that against it. The plot is kept incredibly simple, choosing more to lean into that 50s and 80s neo-noir retro futuristic atmosphere they've built via the cinematography, sets, costumes and characters than taking the sci-fi elements entirely seriously. With this going so far, his watch gadget that slows time for 10 seconds is used twice, and it slows time for over 90 seconds and a minute respectively. We even get a cameo from the most famous vaguely sci-fi prop of all time that also appeared in Star Crystal, which I reviewed last week, with her appearing in a few scenes in the future science lab where Jack gets sent back in time. Oh, and another weirdly specific thing this movie has in common with Star Crystal is the fact the poster is entirely unrepresentative of the actual movie, yet none of this ever happens. That gun he is holding may appear briefly, but he never wears a futuristic spacesuit or even a helmet. There are some decent action and stunt scenes, with Jack being more the punch and shoot first and ask questions third kind of detective. It's a breakneck 72-minute runtime. To the point I sat down, turned it on, and before I knew it the credits were rolling. I was that engrossed in what was happening, and I've seen this a bunch of times. All of this is perfectly complemented by Tim Thomerson's portrayal of Jack Death, who really leans into the character. You absolutely believe he is a grizzled 23rd century police trooper sent back in time, who at the exact same time is raped straight from the pages of a 50s pulp noir. I instantly wanted to buy a trench coat and start pistol whipping people in the face for merely looking in my general direction. Yeah, he's that ruggedly manly. He also has great on-screen chemistry with Helen Hunt, who is appearing here in her first feature film and would obviously go on to have a wonderful career, going as far as to win Oscars and Emmys. She was actually a family friend of Band and had worked with Thomerson as a child actor previously on a CBS comedy show, which is how she ended up reading for the role. Although my one criticism is that Helen Hunt is way too pretty and girly to look like a convincing punkette. Pink highlights in her hair aren't quite enough to sell it. That being said, they are both extremely charming in the lead roles, and their acting is absolutely on point. Their performances and characters really do carry a lot of this film. The soundtrack is another standout with a punk rock and new wave synth vibe, which anyone who has ever seen any of my prior videos knows I'm all about. Oh, and it's a Christmas movie like Die Hard. Yes, that's a hill I'm dying on. So that was Trancers, a Charles Band time travel masterpiece where literally nothing about the time travel plot would hold up to anything more than a superficial glance of scrutiny. But none of that matters, because this is so goddamned entertaining and fun, with a neon-soaked neo-noir futuristic 50s vibe. You'll never question it, and I just can't recommend it enough. Also, all 6 Trancers movies are on Tubi for free. Go watch them now. Just do it, thank me later. Actually, maybe just watch the first one, I can't vouch for the sequels.